What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show and my Stardrive Let's Play for Monday, May 6th, 2013. My name is OperationDx, and let's let the great Cordrazine collective Betrayal begin. We spent the entirety of the last episode preparing for these upcoming moments. So at this point, we know that the Cordrazine Collective have quite a formidable fleet with cruisers and frigates and pretty much high-end stuff. A lot of them seem to have shields and they seem to be pretty tough. They're also marked as the #1 military in the game at this point, so this is definitely going to be an interesting fight. So let me go ahead and break down my battle group and my tactics. So in our first group, we have the remnant captured frigates that we got in the beginning of the game, plus the frigate that we got from our racial pick. In our second group, we have those basic Vulcan fighters. We're still using those. In our third group, we have those laser corvettes that we designed, and they were all energy based. And those were pretty decent against the polyps. And then in our fifth group, we have our standard light bombers that are unprotected, and they're nothing really that special other than the fact that they're cheap and I can build them very, very quickly. In the sixth group, we have a high-tech remnant heavy frigates, and we got to see those being built in the last episode, and they are tough. So this battle is going to be big, really big. So what we're going to do is we're going to slow down time to 0.5. And then I actually wrote a specific track for the music for this upcoming battle because I was so excited about doing it, and I went ahead and just worked on some music over the weekend and slapped something together, and I call it War March. So how this fight is going to break down is we're going to send in our first and second and third and fourth groups as basically cannon fodder so that we can guard our sixth group, which is our high-tech frigates, and those are pretty much going to be our big damage dealers. They also have 20,000 shields apiece, as we saw when we build them, and they have quite the offensive systems. So hopefully they will be able to tear some stuff up here, but we are fighting higher class ships, so they have cruisers, and I have no idea what kind of weapon systems they have. We are ahead as far as technology is concerned, and we built those right on the cusp, so we should be fairly advanced with those high-end frigates. Again, we want to be really careful with our approach here and make sure that not too many of these guys jump out. Even though we have spent some time defending our worlds, we have some planetary shields and we have soldiers on our planets, they can still sneak by and grab some of those undefended planets that they have that are basically the newer planets and the research planets, and we don't really want that to happen. We want to catch the majority of their fleet in this initial confrontation, and we know that the majority of their fleet is here because we have full intelligence. Of course, we're going to lose our full intelligence when we commit the ultimate betrayal, which we're going to do in just a moment here. And as you can see here in the diplomacy screen, we are still #2 in military. Let's go ahead and contact the Cordrazine. And now it is war. And they are angry. But of course they would be. I better hope this goes good for me because all of my cards are being played here. Our full fleet is out here in operation to begin this combat. If things are to go catastrophically bad, we will retreat our heavy advanced frigates, but everything else is probably going to get smoked. So now I'm just setting unit behavior, and I'm pretty much going to just let things fall as they may. I'm not going to be babying any units during this fight. It's all going to go down just as it's going to go down, and that's it. It would seem that the mighty Cordrazine Collective's fleet has fallen. The confrontation is not quite over yet, but we are getting our bombers into position so that we can hit their planets hard, because they have an ultra rich up there, and the sooner I can knock that planet out, the better. As you can see, I lost a majority of my fleet with the exception of my advanced heavy frigates, which seem to largely survive the battle intact. And of course, Group 5 was untouched because it was not in that combat, but here they are coming in. We have all of our bombers going to lay siege to one of the Cordrazine homeworlds, and I'm actually not sure if these guys actually get to start with two big planets like this, because that would be insane, but they definitely started with a good system, especially with that ultra rich, and I don't know if that's something they get all the time because I've not actually played as the Cordrazine, but they had a wicked start in this game, that's for sure. And now I'm just pushing back that last cruiser so that my bombers can get in there unhindered, although there is a couple of stragglers in there probably going to do some damage to my bombers. And it does appear that this planet has planetary defenses, which is going to do a lot of damage to my bombers. And holy crap, dude, look at all the soldiers on the surface of that planet. Think if they would have took all that stuff off and sent it against me. And I'm assuming their other planet is just like this. They're going to lose so many troops here. It's crazy. It doesn't really seem, though, that they did all that great as far as planets outside of their starting system. They're nothing too epic. They're really not anything compared to the planets that I got in my remnant planet grabs. Those were definitely better. A couple of 14 population, 119 population planet, but we didn't get an ultra rich. Holy crap, and that was a big one. Oh, and look, they're still building ships, and that's something we got to look out for, because these things will keep pumping them out, and they'll do a lot of damage to my bombers, and it'll slow me down, and I want to try to get these down as fast as possible and knocked out. And that was their final building, and this planet has basically fallen. Their population is going to go down really quick because my bomber group is really large and they're quickly replaceable. So even if they get a lot of damage done to them, see, like they got some frigates coming in here to try to cause some damage. I'm surprised that larger group up there next to their ultra-rich planet isn't coming down here to try to defend this world, because it's going down, it's going down hard. And with the planet dropping on the info bar, that is indicator that this planet is finished. And we've pretty much wiped out all the Cordrazine Collective on that planet. And now we're going after their ultra-rich planet, which we probably should have hit first. But I wanted to do that battle with a big group to take them out. And now pretty much we're just going to take out the stragglers. So we've got one last big fight here. And all we really have left to throw at them is our advanced heavy frigates, but they are seeming to have no problem at all dealing with these, although I did probably save a couple by throwing my weaker ships into the battle first, and they are pretty much all gone. All we have left is a couple of stragglers, which is the corvettes, the laser corvettes, and there's only 2 of them left. And you can definitely see how effective these ships are in combat with the ability to basically fire in every direction. So that makes these ships ultra powerful. And, you know, if they do a head-on kind of thing, they're going to do a little more damage. But with this big group, we're pretty much being able to put DPS on any ship in any direction, which is making these super powerful. You see that? We had like a ton of DPS on that single ship. And that was just devastating for it. And now we just got to get turned around here. And even with the ships behind us, it doesn't matter. We can fire on ships in any direction. And now we have our 5th group dropping bombs on their ultra-rich planet. And it's just a matter of time before they go down. The rest of their planets are not going to be too much of a problem. This is the core of their empire. And their fleet is gone. So it's just a matter of time before the Cordrazine Collective fall and are no more in this game. And when their final planet falls, we'll focus on the Vulfrin to see what they have, because we basically have ignored, we haven't even taken a look at what they have, and they could be just as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Cordrazine Collective. So before we head off and do our final confrontation with the Vulfrin, we'll definitely go ahead and build some more advanced ships. We'll definitely do the cruiser, so I can at least show you that. We probably won't get to the battleship, we might, and we'll definitely not get to the Titan in this Let's Play. But our technology at this point is cruising by as we're getting a ton of research per turn. So we'll probably have some pretty advanced weapon systems to throw on that cruiser. We'll also have the canopy shield, which is, I believe, a 25,000 shielder. And then we can throw a couple of the other regular shields, the class 3s, and that will give us something like, you know, 25, 30, 40,000 shields, which is pretty ridiculous for a cruiser. And if they don't have any sort of shield penetration weapons, they're really not going to be able to put up much of a fight against them, because I think that the Vulfrin are actually behind in technology, and unless they have, you know, a good setup, they're probably not going to be quite comparable to the technological level that I could put out. Really, their only hope is to have numbers, and numbers will pretty much dictate how long they survive in the game. But they haven't really come after me. They haven't declared war on me, and no federations were formed against me, even though I was an evil, backstabbing prick. And we're going to go ahead and just clear these groups because they are no longer relevant. We don't even need these ships anymore. 3 and 4, Group 2, and Group 1, well, we can't replace those. Those are the remnant ships, but we will go ahead and replace all these bombers. And now that we have specialized production planets from the Cold War era, when we were just before engaging the Cordrazine, we could build these things out so quickly. So I got another couple of tips, though, to hold down the shift key, and I am listening to you guys basically to build these kind of fleets, and I appreciate all the tips that I've gotten in the comments, especially the tip with the holding down the alt key or hitting the alt key while you move your stuff, and they can move at best speeds. That's extremely helpful, and I thank you guys for that. So we're essentially probably going to have one more long episode, and that will conclude this Let's Play series. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun doing it, especially this weekend. I got all excited, and I worked on that music track, and you know, it's good fun, and I was really happy the way it kind of fit in there, my War March song. But yeah, I was definitely all excited this weekend for this particular episode, and I wanted to get started and working on it. And this was an awesome battle, and it was such a great payoff to, you know, see how this was going to all go down. And I really liked how this turned out. Now that the major confrontation is basically over, I'm actually going to spend a second and go ahead and develop a support type craft here. And I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use it, but I'm going to go ahead and make it just in case I need something like this against the Vulfrin. And it's just an excuse to go ahead and design another ship. And this will pretty much be like kind of a second half for this episode, because we still have a little ways to go as we make our way and work down the Cordrazine Collective's final worlds. Okay, so we're basically going to go ahead and use the heavy frigate hull here, and we're just basically putting a bunch of drone launchers on here. What these do is they repair ships in the local area. But when you have these, you got to make sure you have some sort of ammo generation system, or you have a good set of storage so that they can store these drones, because when they run out, they obviously can't function anymore. And then this one needs to be just basically all warp engines so it can get in and out really quickly. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use this or build this, but I'm just going to have it as backup just in case. And then, of course, you know how I like these remnant reactors, man. They're so good. And then next, unlike our feeble bombers, we're going to go ahead and put some shield systems on here. And we're not going to be able to use the super high-end shields. We're going to use the Clash 3 shields, and we'll throw 2 remnant shields on here, and that gives us a nice 20,000 shields, very similar to our other corvettes. And they definitely held out in battle pretty good. We only lost 1 or 2, but then again, we had a lot of cannon fodder to kind of soak up the damage. And of course, we want to throw some fuel cells on here, and that will pretty much give us some extra energy storage for like jumping around, although it's not as important for this particular ship than it is from our laser ship or our main corvette that uses the fusion beams and stuff, because those use a ton of energy and they need energy to fire, and you need to have like a energy reserve storage kind of thing. But basically, when you're slapping a ship like this together, you just got to be kind of mindful of the things that are required to make the ship operate. Right now, I'm not doing some critical things that I need to put on here, and I'll have to rework it a little bit, but we need some sort of ammo box for this ship. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem because those drones require ammo, and we've actually researched the ammo generation system, and we're definitely going to have to throw that on there. And then even with a little extra storage, it should allow the ship to operate in a smooth manner, because sometimes if you don't have enough storage, even if you do have the ammo generation system on the ship, it'll kind of like go into that like out of combat mode, and it'll like back off and like fly away from the fleets and stuff. And you just want to kind of prevent that. So that's why it's kind of good idea to put some extra storage on here to allow it to hold extra drones and stuff. But I don't know if I'm going to do that with this particular ship. But yeah, I'm just going to keep it as it is. That small bit of ammo generation is alright, but like I said, if this thing is in full swing, it's not going to run quite smoothly, and it'll probably try to back out of battle quite often if it runs out of ammo. And then, of course, we just want to give it a name that we can identify what it is in case we actually want to build it. And I'm actually not sure if we're going to make that ship, but I went ahead and made it just in case. Most likely in the beginning of Tuesday's episode, we'll go ahead and we'll build that cruiser, and we'll have pretty much our full fleet out, and we'll go ahead and see what the Volfrin is all about. But we still have some business to do here, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and create a second bomber group to allow myself to hit multiple planets at once. That'll help especially well to make things happen a little quicker. Although I really should kind of break down and build a more effective bomber. I pretty much neglected it this entire series, and we're using these starter bombers, which is fine. I mean, we can build a ton of them really quickly, and that's pretty much why I'm doing it. I don't want to go ahead and build a 800 cost per bomber kind of thing with the super shields and all that stuff, because it's kind of not necessary. Losing these things are just so inconsequential, and they're so easily replaced, and they're really easy to get back into combat because they're so freaking fast. And now we finally have our colony ships inbound to the central Cordrazine space, and we're pretty much going to claim this for ourselves. We actually didn't have those 2 colony ships on deck for this attack because we actually didn't have any built, but now we do, and we're pretty much going to capture these 2 planets. I don't think I'm going to be able to get them up before we get to a point where we're going to be engaging the Volfrin. They're probably not going to be very effective by that time. We already have a very strong empire as it is. All of our planets are pretty much up and running, and we're all specialized. All that happened in the last episode, obviously, and now we're just kind of running things. We got bombers coming in from every freaking direction. You can see that my 5th group is ginormous now, and that is intentional so that we can knock things out really quickly. I've got ships spread out all over the place. They're not flying in a group at all. They're just all over, and it's great. This is going to be effective to getting things done. Of course, I now have that 2nd bomber wing, the 4th group, and they're pretty much going to be able to split up and just take things out separate from each group, and it's just going to make things a lot faster. And you can see I pretty much pulled that 4th group out of nowhere. I built it so quickly. So hopefully with these 2 bomber groups I can go on the fast aggressive and work down the Cordrazine collective and get that all finished up in this episode. So we'll probably just have 1 group guarded by the advanced remnant frigates, and the other group will be kind of like a suicide bomber group. So if there are any ships that are going to do any damage to my bombers, there's pretty much nothing I can do but replace them, as they'll probably just get damaged. So we're just basically setting up here, setting up by other planets. So we got that ultra-rich planet all set up, core world, and then that's their home world, which that's pretty much it for the Cordrazine, because their other planets aren't anything spectacular, as you can see me go through them here. And I just want to see what is going to be the next legit target here as we take a look through all of their available planetary systems. And yep, there's nothing special here. So let's go ahead and send off a group at this first one. We'll try to do this as efficiently as possible. So I've got to really start listening to you guys, especially in the comments telling me about the alt right click thing, and I've just kind of developed this strategy of the beta version, and I just kind of can't get it out of my basic play style, and I've got to do that with the alt right click thing because it's so much more efficient, making everything go at best speed, opposed to just clicking and dragging, as you can see me do quite often throughout the series. And oops, we have some combat here. I didn't expect them to actually have ships, but I guess they're gonna be building some ships here. So hopefully when I send off that other bomber group, they don't end up killing too many. Well, we do know they have the shielded planet technology and they have planetary defense systems, so I'm probably going to have to do a constant replace and loss kind of thing with both groups 4 and 5. Something else I want to kind of note here real quick too is, even though in the beginning of these videos you see that I do the intro screen and it has the version that I basically started on with this Let's Play series, I have been upgrading my game throughout this Let's Play series, and I believe we're on 1.07b. I believe that's the version, so you can kind of ignore that first screen. It's actually just part of the intro of my video. And I've also been updating the Stardrive forums with this Let's Play series, and I've gotten some pretty interesting comments, and one of them was pretty valid and I didn't actually think about. When I set the game speed in this game to 200%, and by doing that aggressive strategy in the beginning, I kind of made this game a little bit easier on myself than I actually had realized. So I probably should have balanced this out by playing on hard, and if I ever do another Stardrive Let's Play series, I'll probably set this on hard, and maybe some of those other things that I'm doing in this, the things that some people do consider to be a little exploity, I won't be able to do anymore, and that will definitely change the dynamic of the game pretty significantly. However, I don't look at it as necessarily cheating, as I'm playing by the rules defined by the game itself. And to be honest, I do typically play this game on a harder difficulty level. I did it on normal basically for the purposes of this Let's Play series. Just to, you know, make sure that everything, you know, pretty much got showed off, and like all the ship designing and technologies and big combats and stuff, just to make sure that the meat of this game got kind of shown off in this Let's Play series, and that's pretty much why I did that. Now, I didn't inadvertently try to make it easier on myself by setting it at 200%, not realizing that I would have gotten all those ships, because it's random. It's completely random. I wouldn't have necessarily gotten all of those ships every single time, because I actually started playing a secondary game after this, and I only got like one ship. And some of the other nicer artifacts actually started on the homeworlds of some of the other races. So again, it's completely random. So, I mean, I just got really lucky in this game. When I did actually my first start of this and I did this Reboot series, I got lucky on both those games. But this one was even more ridiculous because I got more of those starting remnant cruisers. Not cruisers! I keep saying cruisers. I mean remnant frigates. Okay, now I'm finally doing what I wanted to do to get groups 4 and 5 broken up, and basically going to try to finish out this last part of the episode as fast as I possibly can. And as you can see, they have their planetary defenses, and then the bombs fall there. You can see that they all have planetary shields, so this is probably going to be so with every single planet in the Cordrazine Empire. They probably had some of these technologies pretty early on, and it's definitely going to make things a little rougher on me, but hopefully with the two groups broken up, I can get this done in the next 10 minutes or so. So with unshielded bombers, it's pretty much going to be a massacre to my fleet, as there goes the second bomber I've lost. And as soon as I can get those shields down and get that planetary defensive system down, the better. It looks like they've got a couple of transports here, which isn't going to hurt this bomber wing. And I'm probably going to be okay there, but talking about massacre, oh man, poor Cordrazine. And you know who I really feel bad about taking out in this game is the polyps, because I'm always allied with them and they're always like super nice to me, like, let me play a song for you, do do do. You know, those guys are awesome and they just look awesome. They're cool. The plant people, I like them. It's kind of disappointing because in the first Let's Play we got the Space Ninja Pandas, and I so wanted them to be in this game. Of course, We got the Volfin. I keep calling them the Volfrin this whole series, but I warned you the first episode. I'm gonna say the names wrong because I just do that. And then once I call something a certain name, it's just locked in there. I always call it the same thing, the Volfrin. Oh well. So now that I've spent many of hours with this game, I'm probably pretty soon going to be looking to the forums for some cool mods, and I've read some things that aren't quite finished, especially a Star Trek mod. I'll freaking be all over top of that. That even may encourage me to do another Let's Play if that Star Trek mod gets finished, because that would just pump me up. I noticed a couple others in the forum, like a rebalance mod. There always seems to be like one of those in strategy games. And you know, if there's something cool, you guys totally hit me in the comments, say yeah, you should check that out, because I really haven't looked too deeply into the mods into this game. I've pretty much been playing the core game. Oh, they're like, hey, make peace with me because I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But sorry, Cordrazine. We got to keep moving forward here. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for mods above the others, if you tried a couple of those out or whatever, go ahead and just hit me in the comments and let me know, and I will definitely give those a look. And as you can see, there's not very much population on all these planets, as I'm just cooking through their last of their empire here and moving on from one planet to the next. Fortunately, all they have here are planetary defenses, so I will be able to pretty much move on to the next. So we got just this one down here, and the last one I'm working up there, and we'll pretty much be done with this episode. And I'm glad I was able to get it all done in this episode, even though it pretty much stretched out a little longer than I had planned. We're sending our entire fleet over to the last stronghold of the Cordrazine Collective's empire, and it looks like that was, or still is, guarded by remnant forces, as it still has those 3 exclamation points, can't talk apparently, exclamation points on top of that world. Usually signifies that there's some sort of forces in that system, usually the remnant forces, and I do not see that, but they do have some combat units, so we are going to take a little bit of damage here. Looks like my remnant frigate fleet is lagging behind, so I'm actually going to lose a few more bombers here. Oh well, it's okay, we'll replace them before we start fighting the Volfin, whatever. So I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen with the star lanes when I actually take down the Cordrazine Collective. I think they used to stick around at the same race's color, but I think I remember reading in a patch that if you take out one of the races, their star lanes go gray. And I don't know, does that let you use the star lanes as a neutral star lane, or are they just kind of like a dead star lane? I'm not sure. But that was the signifier there, guys. And now the Cordrazine Collective is no more in this Let's Play series, and we pretty much have one more race to go. We're pretty much going to do our standard fleet operations as we've done throughout this entire series and send them back to the home world, where basically just my bombers really need to rearm, and then we'll send the first group back. And then I think what we'll do for the Volfin, see, I just can't pronounce it properly. I'll never be able to. So, just gonna have to deal with that. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and probably design a cruiser for this last fight. That way I designed at least one big ship, and you guys can see kind of how I like to go about things. And we've pretty much been researching technologies all along this whole time and all that. Oh, you know what? Come to think about it too, we've only got a few artifacts there. And in the second game I was playing, I had more of the core artifacts, but I didn't have any of the ships. So yeah, it's all random. Anyways. Well, guys, that's pretty much it for this first Monday episode. It was nice and long and meaty. We had that beautiful battle in the beginning and pretty much shown off the core elements there of what the game is like with a significant amount of ships and how the game kind of runs with all those ships in play and stuff. So, yep. So thank you guys for watching the DX Gamer Show and my Stardrive Let's Play. I'll see you guys Tuesday while we start engaging the Volfin. See you guys.